Hey everybody, welcome to Bookish Daddy. Welcome back. Thank you all so much for liking, subscribing, commenting. I am going to be trying to give a second video this week. So I got called out by a BookTube friend of mine, Graham Matthews. Uh, I'll put his link down below, his little name right here. Go check out his channel. He does a lot of super unique titles. Like he does indie author shout outs at the end of the week or end of the month, once a month. He does very good, like unique challenges, booktube challenges. He's new to the booktube channel as well as I am. And I have watched almost all of his content. It's super fun. His reads are a little different than mine. I'm more romanticy, but he's been doing a lot of he's got one on Legends and Lattes. He's got some more high fantasy videos, but for the most part, he's got very unique videos. Before I get into this challenge I was tagged in, I'll go ahead and tag my two. Well, no, I'll jump into it because I think that's a part of the challenge. So, the challenge is called the Off the Top of Your Head BookTube tag. Number one, what was your favorite picture book as a child? So my favorite picture book was this, Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. I'm sure you've all read it. I'm sure you all, well, maybe you didn't all love it. I did. I thought it was a very wonderful read as a kid. I always thought it was hilarious that the green eggs and ham were green, and then he ended up liking it. So this was my favorite as a kid. Number two, what series did you love as a child? My favorite series as a child was the Bernstein Bears. It was one of the collections my parents got for me. It's a very cute Christian-based family, and it's a mom and a dad and their daughter and son, and they do all kinds of like fun stuff together as a family. And as a kid, I thought it was very fun to read, and it was one of my favorite series. Actually, Graham Matthews, the guy that tagged me in this, said another one of my favorites, Captain Underpants. Dude, I loved Captain Underpants as a kid. It was dumb and silly, and I was all about it. That was me as a kid. Number three, the worst book you have read or tried to read. Boy, I am going to catch some hate for this one because I know it is a very well known author and a lot of people do love his books, but Guards by Terry Pratchett. I couldn't do it. I know people love his writing. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's a bestseller. His books are phenomenal. I tried so hard. I've tried the audiobooks. I've tried rereading it. I don't know if you've read his work. He does a lot of British humor, and he does a lot of nonsensical humor and gibberish, and I just could not get into it. I tried so hard. I can understand why people would like it. Terry Pratchett has a very unique style of writing. It is good writing. It's just not for me. So if you love Terry Pratchett, you love Guards, you love Discworld, whatever it may be, dude, that's awesome. Keep supporting him. Keep supporting his books. I just was not about it. And I'll try other books. I'm willing to give it a shot, but it just was not for me. But like I said, I can understand why people would love it. If you love like British humor or very like crazy worlds, very whimsical worlds, you would love him. And I just did not. Love Terry Pratchett though. I'm sure he's a great guy, and I'm not trying to bash him. That's just my answer. Uh, Number four, your favorite reading or book memory. So my favorite book memory grew once I was like 18. R.A. Salvatore's The Legend of Dritz became my favorite series of all time. I was obsessed. I bought every single book he had written, whether it was sci-fi or fantasy. I had like 36 of his books, 20 of those being The Legend of Dritz. I was binge reading them. And by the end of it, I did not know many people in my area, my small hometown, who knew who he was or read books like that, high fantasy books. And then I met my wife, uh, and she had read them and loved them. And I even was so baffled that I like questioned her. I was like, "Oh yeah, who's this? And what did they do?" And she answered it all. And it's one of my favorite memories. It was the first thing we really clicked on. It was a big part of why we started talking and dating. And one of the things I loved most about her was our similar interest in books. And it's one of my fondest memories as far as books go. Next, number 5, a book you loved as a movie. I'm going to say Twilight. I have not read these books. I plan to, but the movies, I love all of the Twilight movies. And yeah, I can't say much about the books, but as far as the movie goes, I'm a big fan of vampires and werewolves. And anytime it's rainy out, we usually will buy pizza and I'll drink a beer and we'll watch Twilight. Number 6, a book you wish they would make into a movie. Hmm, that's difficult because a lot of my favorite books I don't want to be ruined by them becoming movies and it not being done properly. Or I have this weird thing where I don't want like people to see the movie and love it and have never read the book, kind of like I just did with Twilight. I don't want people to see my favorite book as a movie first. Dang, that's a tough one. I guess I would say, you know what? I do have one. Darth Bane trilogy. So Star Wars was done phenomenally. The movies are insane, but the characters are not nearly as good as the ones in the Old Republic. So that is my answer. I would love to see. It doesn't even have to be Darth Bane, Darth Plagueis, Exar Kun, any of the Old Republic, Jedi or Sith, any of them. I would love to see in a movie, not just a cartoon. Uh, but like an actual movie like they did with the, you know, big films. So yeah, that's my answer. Number 7, a book character that you would like as a friend. The only person from books that I think I could like vibe well with who's like my favorite guys in books are like the big military-esque type dudes who have like a good sense of humor and are gruff. And so Cassian from Akatar is who I would pick to want to be friends with in the books. I think me and him would vibe, get along, drink and eat all the food in the house, and aggravate everybody, get in snowball fights. So yeah, Cassian is who I pick. Number 8, a place you want to visit because of a book you read. This one actually, I'll say it first. New Zealand because of Lord of the Rings. Oh, dude, not even just the movies, the books, the scenery, the imagery, the thought of the mountains and landscapes and oceans and everything is just so beautiful. I would love to go there and see it in person. Uh, this one, I guess I could have done as a movie I've seen that I loved. Lord of the Rings is probably my favorite movies of all time. Uh, as you've seen with my coffee mugs and some of the shirts I've worn in the videos, I even have a wedding band that is the One Ring. I don't wear it now, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, and I would love to go to New Zealand one day. Number 9, a nonfiction book that you would recommend. This one is tough. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna have to skip this one. I do not read much nonfiction. The only ones I have ever read had to deal with like the Holocaust, or they're all very depressing. And I cannot think, I guess the nonfiction world is very depressing, and I can't think of one that I enjoy or would recommend. If there are ones that you enjoy that you think I might would like, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I can't think of one. Number 10, if you could hang out with an author all day, who would you pick and why? Brandon Sanderson, hands down, is not only one of my favorite authors of all time, he seems like the coolest dude ever. Me and my wife watch his videos of him like hanging out with fans, him at his book signings. Uh, he seems like a very down to earth, guy who is super cool. He dedicates a lot of his books to his wife, so he's a very like loving family man, and he just seems so chill. Like it would be a blast to just sit down and hang out with him and his family or have a barbecue. He just seems like somebody I could vibe very, very well with. So that's who I'm going to say. Number 11, the final one. Tag some fellow booktubers. So for this one, I'm just going to do two. The first one, you've all heard me talk about. Ian Gubeli, or Goobly, however you want to say it. Goobly's a lot more fun. So if that's not how you say it, I'm sorry. Ian, I am tagging you. I'll throw his name down here. Most of you came to my channel from Ian's. His content is great. He is more of a vlogger, so he videos himself reading and goes over it. He is also more of a more dark reader than I am. He likes Stephen King, Joe Abercrombie, a lot of like heavier stuff, thrillers, horror, grim, dark fantasy. But I do love watching his channel. Those are books that I have read. They're not my favorite, but I don't hate them. But his channel, he is very fun to watch. So I'd like to see what you have on this challenge. And the next one is Andrew's Wizardly Reads. I'll throw him down here too. He does a lot of sci-fi, a lot of high fantasy, and he is very articulate, enthusiastic, and funny. I love his videos. He's probably my next go-to when I'm watching BookTubers. He's got tons of content. If you're not following him, go give him a follow. And I'm telling you, he's got tons of content. He's putting it out quick. Thank you again to Graham Matthews. You shouted me out. We're both new to the channel. He's another Bookish dad. I happened to steal the Bookish daddy name before he did, but it's funny. I actually found his channel because he had started it like with the Welcome to the Bookish Dad or Bookish Daddy, and I thought it was funny. I watched his stuff, and he is very funny. He's got very good content, and he's actually pumping it out really quick, good content. So follow all three of those dudes. I hope I did this challenge justice. I hope you all have a great week. I'm hoping to put out more content. If there's any other BookTube tags you see that you would like me to do, tag me in it, throw it in the comments, and just like this one, I will get to it and I will do it as fast as I possibly can. Y'all have a great week, and I will talk to you next week.